Hello and good day all. Today we'll talk on multiple choice questions, how to pass multiple choice questions or CBT tests. Now, multiple choice questions form important aspects of all professional exams, and in some of your professional exams, they serve as the rate limiting step for you to pass the exams. So they might serve as screening. Without passing the CBT tests, you might not pass the exams, the whole of the exams. And in some postgraduate exams, you have to pass the CBT tests before you are allowed to proceed. The reason being, most of the CBT tests are used to assess the depth of your knowledge, unlike the OSCE or the clinical that will focus on a particular aspect of the exams. But it's with the multiple choice tests that can be used to cover the curriculum for the expected exams or the standard for that exams. You should know the three most important steps for you to pass a multiple choice questions include knowledge on the subject. You must know the curriculum and the expected area to be covered for the exams. Because if you don't cover the curriculum for that particular exams, you will see a lot of unexpected questions. And in an exams, if you are seeing a question for the first time, or a topic or a subject for the first time in an exams, the chance of passing that question is very slim. So you must be very conversant with the curriculum for the particular exams you are preparing for, and you have to master the relevant topics in that exams, and you have to read wide and deep, not superficial reading. You must know that multiple choice questions, the aim is to measure how wide and deep you read. So for you to successfully pass a CBT test, you must have knowledge on the subject matter. The second step is frequent practice. You have to answer questions using relevant materials. Irrelevant materials for an exams only waste your time. So how do you practice with relevant materials? What are these relevant materials? These materials must have similar standard to the examination you are preparing for. You shouldn't be reading materials that contain stuffs that are different from the exams you are preparing for, or they are in short of some of the topics in that particular exams. So the materials you should use must contain all the relevant topics, and it should be of similar standard to that exams. Okay? As we said, materials that cover all the areas anticipated in the curriculum. Materials with corrections, explanations, and discussions of the answers. So if you have a textbook that is mainly of multiple choice questions, so that textbooks, after practicing with such textbooks, they should have a chapter that review the answers of that multiple choice questions and even discuss the answers so that you will have a better understanding on the questions that you attempted while practicing. Now, you should lay your hands on past questions, not necessarily because Those questions will be repeated, but for you to have scope on the examination you are preparing for. So the first point on your frequent practice is to practice with relevant materials. Now you have to be regular and consistent with your practice. You should know that if you are not consistent, you will never finish your preparation. So you have to be consistent. You should have a timetable you use for reading, and you should be regular and consistent with your timetable. And you should have a group discussion members with similar goals and determination, because it has to be a form of a teamwork. If you do it alone, yes, you might succeed, but doing it in team, as a team, okay, with the same goals and you have the same determination, that your chances of succeeding is higher than doing it alone, okay? And you must have answered several questions before the examination date. You should have a target. Okay, before my CBT test, I want to cover 1,000 questions. I want to cover 2,000 questions with the relevant discussion so that I'll have a good grasp on the subject matter. And don't never get tired of doing that, because you should remember repetition is the secret of learning. You don't have to be a genius. Once you keep on repeating a stuff, it moves into your long-term memory. And lastly, time management. Time yourself during practice. You should know that it's not enough to just know the answer, but you must answer within the stipulated time provided. And if possible, finish before the time provided. Okay, so you should know that for you to have a proper time management, you must practice repeatedly, consistently, okay? And you have to time yourself while practicing. For example, you can have 100 MCQ questions that you want to answer them in 60 minutes. So you use a stopwatch during your practice time. Ensure those 100 questions are answered within 60 minutes, and that should be your habit. Doing so, you will have the habit of managing your time during examination, and you shouldn't waste too much time on a question, okay? If a question will waste your time, you can skip the question. You have time to review the question later after answering those questions that will not waste your time. So in summary, you must have a good knowledge on the subject matter. You should frequently and regularly practice your multiple choice questions. And lastly, you should have a very good time management. I wish you the best in any exams you are preparing for. Best of luck. Thank you very much for listening.